2, 1. Tonight we welcome back to Penn State a former student, later a faculty member in this department, a familiar face if you're a regular viewer of the Weather Channel. Dr. Greg Forbes got his BS from Penn State, went on to get his PhD at the University of Chicago, and most recently has been the severe weather expert at the Weather Channel. A real pleasure to welcome you back, Greg.
Pleasure to be here, John.
So you're originally from Latrobe.
Yeah.
Were there any specific weather events growing up that kind of got you interested in meteorology?
In my case, it wasn't so much a specific weather event as the fact that as a 7th grader, I had a teacher that taught us a module on weather. And that told me that weather was a real science. And at the same time, I was from Western Pennsylvania, Latrobe. The TV meteorologists, Joe DiNardo, Bob Kudzmer, were actually meteorologists, professionals, as opposed to Bozo the Clown or whoever might have sometimes been doing the weather when I was a kid. So, hey, that's a real science. I'm going to go be a weather forecaster, and I can help people plan their daily activities.
Yeah, that's so funny. Joe and Bob were also childhood idols of mine. At the University of Chicago, you studied under Dr. Theodore Fujita, he of the F scale. What are your strongest recollections of working with him?
Well, he was nicknamed Mr. Tornado, and it was just so exciting working with him. I happened to be there in 1974 as a graduate student when we had the first of the 2 super outbreaks that this country has had, and I was able to go out as part of a team with him in flying in small aircraft to map out the tornadoes and the damage from that outbreak. And then later on, looking at thunderstorm tops flying around in Learjets, and then going out with him for damage surveys on the ground and getting to interact with a professor more than you would in, say, the classroom. And then even microbursts, these strong damaging downdrafts in storms that were causing aircraft crashes, helping him do initial research on that.
Right, so part of your point then is that Fujita did a lot more than tornadoes.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And in fact, you were part of the team, it's been about a decade now, that updated the Fujita scale. It became the enhanced Fujita scale. What was that experience like?
Yeah, Dr. Fujita had developed that scale in 1971, and it didn't have a tremendous amount of engineering input to really look at the kind of damage and the winds needed to cause the damage. So engineers quickly started saying, some of these winds are too high. So in the 90s, early 2000s, a team got together of joint engineers and meteorologists, myself being one of them, and we tried to come up with a more detailed scale. What does it take to damage this home, this school, toss around vehicles, things like that, and better wind estimates to go along with that. That was very exciting, and it was a great honor to be part of that enhanced Fujita scale team.
You've been at the Weather Channel since 1999. What are the severe weather outbreaks since then that really stick with you?
Well, there's certainly one. I mentioned I was in graduate school for Super Outbreak 1974. I was at the Weather Channel covering the storms on air in Super Outbreak 2011. So many tornadoes, so many people died. Also, the Super Tuesday, February tornado outbreak that hit on a primary day in so many states around the Mississippi Valley. And there have just been so many other experiences covering landfalling hurricanes and their floods and tornadoes. Just so many experiences.
I mean, you've spent almost 2 decades sort of communicating severe weather hazards to people. Is there sort of an overriding general takeaway message from that 20 years of experience that you'd like to get out?
Yeah, the thing that's frustrating to me is that so many times after a disaster, we hear people say that we didn't have any warning. Well, the warnings are very good from the National Weather Service, and they're communicated as best as we can, but people have to put themselves in a position to get those warnings, be monitoring the weather, have some kind of a smartphone with a weather app on it, no weather radio, ways that you can keep abreast of the situation that today is going to be way out of the ordinary. And expect to have something that has been worse that you ever experienced in your lifetime. These rare events, these worst events are pretty rare. So expect, if you're being told that it's going to be a really bad situation, expect it could be worse than anything that you've ever experienced.
As you think about the meteorologist's role in communicating severe weather hazards, is there anything that keeps you up at night, sort of a nightmare scenario?
Yeah, my nightmare scenario would be we've got this huge accumulation of people, like maybe the Indy 500, kind of outdoors exposed, and all of a sudden a huge tornado develops, and they can develop in a few minutes, and just goes barreling in there where there's basically no way for people to be seeking shelter. I'm thinking that that could be a situation where we would have 1,000 deaths or something like that. That kind of thing keeps me up or makes me very, very nervous. And fortunately, these events have taken to having meteorologists that are trying to keep people aware of any kind of imminent threats.
Right. We just have a few seconds left. What do you think maybe the next big breakthrough in forecasting severe weather will be?
Well, both as the radars and satellites continue to improve and the resolution and the nature of the numerical models continues to improve, I think we'll go from a state where we're just making warnings based upon radar to ones where we're getting a computer mix in with that. So that may enable us to get longer lead times in tornado warnings and maybe predict more than just extrapolating from where the storms are right now.
Dr. Greg Forbes, formerly a faculty member here at Penn State and most recently severe weather expert at the Weather Channel. Thanks so much, Greg.
My pleasure.
And we will be back in a moment with a recap of the short-range forecast.